Welcome back to Same Bright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew a long pleated flare skirt, as you can see right here on the video and on the thumbnail. So this long pleated flare skirt, I'll be sharing with you the techniques to making it to get it accurately. So we have two types of long pleated skirts. We have the one cut at 360 and we have the one cut at 180. So I cut at 180 degrees. You can also cut at 360. That means dividing your waist into two and cutting their radius differently and joining them back. That is if you actually want to have a very full pleated skirt. So right here you can see what I got here. I cut at 180 degrees and you can see the pleatings. They are looking beautiful and wonderful. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn more. So right here I'll be making use of my cardboard paper for this pleating, and here I have 9 cardboard paper sheets. So if you can get a craft paper, the craft paper remains the right paper for this project. So right here you can see I have my 9 cardboard papers. I'm going to join them with my adhesive right now. So I've joined the 9 of them and this is what I got. So this is the paper we are going to use to create the mold for this pleating. So I will now go ahead to the table to fold my 180 degrees flare. So I'm going to put my paper into 2. Although I later added some more paper to the down piece, so I will get the actual length I want to work with. So here I have folded my 180 degrees flare. So we'll start to calculate our radius. So I'm actually working with waist 36 inches. I'm going to add 2 inches for zipper, making it 38, and we are cutting 180 degrees flare. So I'm going to divide with 3.14, which is a constant. So 36 plus 2 is 38, divided by 3.14. My radius is 12 inches. So I'm going to mark out my radius of 12 inches from the folded edge. Of course, you know how to go about this part, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and mark 12 inches all around. And then I'm going to connect the radius. So after connecting this radius, I actually have to connect it at those points. Make sure you connect it exactly at that point. That is why I'm taking the drawing once again. So next is to start taking the measurement of the length of this fold. So the length of this mold we are making use of, I'm using 42 inches. You can make it 45 inches if you really want this to flare very well, to be full on the ground. So but I'll be using 42 inches. You can see how it looks on me and it's actually looking nice. So I'm now taking it, as you can see right here, I'm taking it on the radius, the length of 42 inches for my mold, and I'm taking it all around. As you can see, so the paper is actually very big. I have to keep it right there on the floor so you'll be able to see it very well. So right now we'll start cutting out the radius and then cut out the 42 inches length. So this is what I got right here. So I'm taking away the part I cut and this is what I got. So we are going to use this 180 degrees cutting. So if I open it up, it will be actually 180 degrees. So I'll now begin to grade the down part. So I'm going to grade the down part the way it is together, the two pieces together. I'm grading it at 2.5 inches. So I'll keep taking the 2.5 inches grading. So I will mark the 2.5 inches from the beginning to the end of it. So I started from the open part and I started grading up to the folded parts. So after grading, I'm going to section them. So it's actually very big anyway. So because the length is long and the down piece will also be big. So I'll start labeling them right now. So you start to section them. So I'm going to section them, as you can see right here, from the beginning to the end, and sectioning them, and I'm almost getting to the end, and I have 33 sections. So these 33 sections, I'll go to the upper part of it, and I'm going to take the measurement from the folded part. I took the measurement and I got 19.5. I'm going to divide it with the 33 sections, and here I have 0.59. So the line after 0.5 is 0.59. So I'll start marking that 0.59 like that until I get to the end of the upper piece. So at the end of the day, I'll also advise you count the sections for the up. So the sections for the up is supposed to be 33 inches too. They are supposed to be equal, because now we'll start creating our lines from the up to the down piece. So I'll bring in my ruler and I'll start taking the tiny sections of 0.59 on the upper piece to the down section of 2.5. So I'll keep doing this exercise, marking it, as you can see, from top to bottom, from top to bottom. I'll do that until I cover the whole paper. So these lines you are seeing right here are the lines I'm going to use to create these pleats. So we are creating these pleats as on the mold, on the paper. I call it a mold because once we place our fabric, it will definitely give us the pleating that we desire. So I've gradually come to the end of it. So I'll just keep marking until I exhaust the lines. So that is how to go about it. So after exhausting the lines, we'll start to create the pleats. So we are going to pleat on all the lines, okay? So I'm using the edge of my table. I'm just demonstrating what I'm going to do. So you just use the edge of your paper, your table like that, and pleat in the first line. You kiss it to the next line. So don't skip any line. Make sure you pleat in and kiss in like that. So I'm going to also go back to the next line, and I'll also use the edge of the paper of the table to create that folding, just like children hand fan. Of course, you know how children normally make their hand fan when for children. So this is what I'm doing right here. For all the lines, I make sure it passes through the edge of the table. And once it passes like that, I'll pick it up and kiss it to the next line. So I'm going to do this until I get to the end of the paper. So actually looking at this, you can see it takes some time, but it's something that once you are done with it, it actually worth it. So right here you can see I'm still kissing the lines. I'm still going through it like that. I'm going to go ahead to kiss the lines to each other like that. So this is exactly what I did on my paper, okay? So after going through this, folding it and pleating it like this, so I actually slowed down on this part because I really want you to understand what I'm doing right here. So I've gradually come to the end of it. So once you come to the end of it, then you now bring everything together, and that is exactly what I did on this paper. So you are going to bring it together first, okay? Of course, you know how children make their hand fans, so that is exactly what I'm doing right here. So I brought everything together from top to bottom before we lay our fabric. So the fabric I'm using is Duchess. I decided to use Duchess fabric to try this pleating, and I'm using 3 yards of it. So these 3 yards, I'm going to place it on fold and then I'm going to cut out 180 degrees using the 12 inches radius. So I just move ahead and use my tape to take my 12 inches radius exactly how we took the mold. So it's just the same thing I did on the mold I'm doing right here. So I'm going to mark 12 inches. So my chalk was not actually showing because I used the white chalk. So now I'm going to use a blue chalk to mark out the 12 inches radius. So this 12 inches radius is because we cut our flare at 180 degrees. So if you want it to be a little bit more bolder, you can cut at 360 degrees. That is dividing your waist into two and then get their radius differently. So here I'm done cutting out, and I'm going to take away what I cut, and this is what I have, 180 degrees. So I bring it back to the table, and then this is what we got. So I want to go over and hem the down piece. So I'm going to first weave it. So I just use the black weaving thread, but just make sure you use a matching thread when you are working on yours. So after weaving it, it's now easy to fold only once and stitch. So I'll go over to the machine and fold and stitch, which I've done. You can see it right there. So now we are going to place it on the mold. So I bring back my mold right now. I'm going to open up my mold. So you open the mold, and then you also fold this fabric. Remember, we opened it. Make sure you fold it the way we cut it at 180. You can see the folded part and the open part. So I'll also place it accordingly on the mold, the folded part and the open part. So I'll now bring in the fabric and place it on the waistline, facing the folded part on the folded part of the mold, and the open part on the open part of the mold too. So I will use my pins to secure it. So make sure you secure all the edges so the pleats will not scatter for you. So I'm going to pin the sides first. So I'm pinning the fabric on the pepper mold first on the side. Then after that, I'll go over to the waist and secure the waist. And the folded part, I'll also go over there and secure it accordingly. So this part, I'll encourage you to take your time. Don't rush this part, just take your time so you'll be able to get exactly what you are looking for. So because you need to spread this pepper open, everything needs to match together from the waist to the side and to the hemline. So you spread the pepper and spread it real good. So you can see we have 2 inches difference because I cut my fabric at 41 inches. The mold is at 42, the fabric is at 41 because of hemming allowance of 1 inch. So now I have 40 inches. So you can see there's a difference from the mold, a 2 inches different from the mold and the fabric. So I'm still arranging my fabric. So the mold has to be longer than your fabric. So I'll make sure I spread open this mold, then I'll uncover it. So everything has to be spread first before you cover it. So I've covered it, as you can see right now. So I'm going to pin the side of the mold again just to secure the sides from slipping out. So I just pin as you can see, and then after pinning we begin to pleat the mold and the fabric together. So you begin to pleat them together. So here I made sure everything is straight before I begin to pleat. So I match up all the sections for the inner and the upper mold. So make sure you arrange it appropriately, as you can see me do right there. Okay, that is the secret to having it well pleated. So I'll begin to pleat it, as you can see right now. I'll begin to pleat and pleat and pleat, as you can see. After arranging, I'm still arranging anyway because I don't need to be careless about this part. So I'll now bring them together, as you can see. I'll keep bringing it and arranging and bringing it together like children paper fan. So if you have a clip, just clip on it. Each section you make, you can clip on it to secure it. Each section you make from the down, you make sure you pleat it to the up, go back to the down, come again to the upper part, like that. That's how to go about it. So everything has to be folded according to the lines that we have on the mold. So this is not actually an easy work anyway, but it's something you can take your time and make, and it's worth it. So I will advise, if you can get a craft paper, I think the craft paper is the best fabric for this. So you can get the craft paper at the printing shop. Okay, it's actually brown in color at the printing shop. So with the craft paper, you can have this mold as long as you wish to have it. So here I'm putting everything together, as you can see, like that, including the fabric. So I'll make sure I pleat everything, and keep arranging it because the fabric is actually very long. So I'll put them together from the beginning to the end. So I just thought of showing you what I did, so you have an idea of what you are going to expect when you are making yours. So now I come with my copper wire. So I'm going to put the copper wire below. So I use my cutter to cut it, and I'll put it below the mold. And I'm going to secure it as tight as possible. So I'm going to tighten it because that is what makes the pleats. So make sure it's very tight. So I'll also keep using my copper wire. I will do that from the down to the up. So here you can see how I'm tying it. So I just took my time to ensure that I tie that part appropriately. So I started from the down part to tie. So if you want to actually achieve this mold tightening, you start from the down to the up. So make sure you put in all the sections, because when you put all the sections, the result is going to be wonderful. Okay, because all the pleats will be in place. They will run all the way from the upper piece to the down piece in place. So I'm still working on the mold. So I'll make sure I put everything together, as you can see, and then secure with my pins, with my copper wire. So once I'm done with securing it with my copper wire, I'm going to take it directly to my oven to bake. So if you look at this length of this flare pleated skirt, you can see it's actually very long. So right now I put it together, as you can see. So after I'm done, I'll take it to the mold, to the oven to bake. Since it's very long like this, what I'm going to do to achieve this is to ensure that I take the measurement of my oven. So I proceeded to take the measurement of the length of my oven, and I noticed that the space I have for the length of my oven there is just 32 inches. So since I have 32 inches and the length I'm working with for my mold is 42 inches, that means we are going to fold this mold at 10 inches, at the point of 10 inches. So I'm still working on the mold anyway, but I just want to tell you what I'm going to do right now before we take it to the oven to bake. So when you have a long length like that, we don't have any choice than to bend it. But after bending it and baking it, I'll still show you what to do to make it straightened. Okay, because here in this area, it's hard to get an oven that has a length of 45. But the factories can have, if the people working in the factory can have a longer baking oven for this project. So since it's homemade, we'll just use what we have and improvise for it. So now we are done. This is actually long, and that is why I'm taking my time right here to make sure I tie from the bottom to the upper piece, as you can see. So now we are going to take the measurements of the length of this where we are going to fold. So we are taking that measurement based on the measurement of the oven space. So I try to tighten everything to make sure everything is very close. So when baking, we'll actually have a good result. So now I'm going to take the measurement of that oven space, which is 42, and at that point of 32 inches, 32 inches, I'm going to bend my mold. So I just bend it this way, and then after bending it, I'm going to wrap it with my foil. So here is my foil. So I'm using this foil because I don't want this to burn. So if you don't want your fabric to burn, wrap it with a foil, and then you can bake as long as you wish. So I make sure I covered this with my foil. I covered it very well. In fact, I will say I foiled it very well, so my fabric does not burn in any way. Okay. So after covering it with my foil, I proceeded to take it to the oven to bake. So this is it, and this is my mold. So, and here on my oven, I have a bowl of water below my grid, and I'm going to turn my knob to 180 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. So I put my mold inside the oven right now, and I'm going to close it up accordingly. So once I close my oven, I'll begin to bake. And once in a while, I'll come back to check on my baking. I baked for 1 hour. Actually, I baked for 1 hour. I understand that when you bake longer, you have a stronger result. Okay? So the pleats will be in place. Even if when you wash it, the pleats will be there too. So I brought it out once it's done after 1 hour, and I placed it at the edge of my window so it will cool. So it needs to cool very well before you open it. So here we want to open up the mold. So I take off the foil, the aluminum foil, and then we want to open up the mold. So you can see the part that we bent definitely will have a sort of this figure. So but I'll just take off my coils. So I'll take off my copper wire, which I used as a binder. So I'm going to take it off one after the other gently before we open up the mold. So you keep untying it like this, like that, until we remove all of them. So the parts that you see us bend is actually going to look, funny. So but we'll just take off the pins because we don't have any choice. If you want to make a long piece, that is how to go about it. We work with what we have. So here we are opening up our mold, and you can see the pleating we have with Duchess. La. So you can see the pleatings came out very well, apart from the part that we folded. So how I wish we have a longer oven. We could have just had a perfect work done. But anyway, it can serve as a design this way, or you can also use your iron. So I'll just go over to the ironing table to show you how to pleat back the part that is disarranged. So I'll just make sure I pleat them back, then take it to the ironing table with my steam iron. I'm going to take it one after the other. You are going to take it one after the, don't take it together, one after the other like this. It's actually a big work, but it's something that you can do if you don't have a big oven that will accommodate the length of 45. So I kept working on it one after the other until I straightened all of them. That is how I went about the skirts, and of course you can see it came out well as I wore it. So that is how I'm going to do that. So next is to cut the lining. So the lining, I'm using 2.5 yards of fabric, and I also folded it at 180. So now I'm going to merge, I cut it at 180, lining and fabric. I'm going to merge their waistline together, which I've done. So next I'm going to take the measurement of my zipper allowance. So I'm going to take 9 inches from the waistline, and I'll mark on both sides. So I'll go over to the ironing, to the machine, to stitch them together at that 9 inches. So here I'm done stitching the both of them together. So I'll put it together now and secure it at that 9 inches. Then sew them separately, lining and fabric, lining to lining and fabric to fabric. So after stitching, this is what I got for them. So the next we are going to do is to sew our band. So my band width is 4 inches, and I folded 1/2 inch to it. The length of my band is my waist length, which is 38 inches calculated. So next we are going to sew the wrong side to the right side of the band. I'll sew it from the beginning to the end. Then I'm going to turn the part I folded and top stitch on top of it. So after top stitching, this is what I got. You can see the skirt is looking beautiful. Next is to sew the zipper. I'm sewing an invisible zip to it, so I'll just go ahead and stitch my zip. And this is what we got. The dress is ready and the skirt is looking beautiful. So if this video is helpful to you, I would like to have your comment on the comment section. And if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe and turn on your notification bell to receive more videos on this channel. Thank you.